Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday. And in fact, it was also Nathan Day. Hi, Nathan. How are you doing here? Yeah, I guess we're going to have a lot of cat guests here on stream today. Welcome, everybody. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, last week, I definitely talked a little bit about the advantages of trying to have Capcom Pro Tour go to offline again. And it was just so happens, that I sat there and talked about it. And then this last weekend was Blink Respawn in the Dominican Republic. Now, keep in mind that at one point in time, Capcom did announce that they wanted to run the finals in the DR. And it would have been magical. But obviously, the pandemic robbed us of that situation. There was one year that they announced it was going to be in France, and the pandemic robbed us of that. But look, as someone who has actually been to Game Over in the Dominican Republic for an event quite a few years ago, man, if you ever want to be reinvigorated or reminded of why offline is basically like the greatest thing ever, the Dominican Republic is a great place to go. Because I don't think I have ever been to an audience that feverish like whenever we watch tournaments and Kaba's there and he's loud and he's cheering for Mena and he's being really excited and hype, and some people think he's weird or maybe he's too much or whatever, or he's being disrespect. Dude, like that's just how it is. Like that's how excited they get. They don't have and it's just one of those things that they've been taught, that they have learned as they grew up and everything, that it's good and it's complimentary and it's great to be loud and to be excited and to be proud and to be rooting for your guys and stuff. And so, when you go to the DR, just imagine just a room full of people cheering and going nuts like Kaba does at a lot of the events that we see here whenever they travel to the States. To give you an idea of what it's like, it is feverish. It is magical. Is absolutely one of the greatest things. Hi, Nathan. It is one of the greatest experiences you'll ever have. And, again, just kind of leaning towards why you should try to hit offline events and why offline events are so important. Because honestly, a lot of the negativity that you see on social media just isn't there when you get to a live event. It's just so different. And you see something like the Dominican Republic, and when you're in it, it's impossible not to get caught up in it. It's why EVO is such a great experience as well, because EVO is an environment which basically everyone understands that the whole entire arena is there to cheer about fighting games. And so everybody feels like they are welcomed to get loud for character reveals. It feels like they're welcome to cheer for great moments in fighting games. And what it really is that, it lets out the inhibitions. And in fact, even in the States, there was a counterculture between East Coast and West Coast for the longest of time. Whenever you were in the West Coast tournaments, a lot of the top 8 audience would be like, oh. But when you're in the East Coast, it's just like everybody is just screaming and yelling. And that's why like MVC2 just like thrived in the East Coast, because it was just like the giant world of trash talking, even to the point where an introvert like Justin, he had to learn how to trash talk and be really kind of cocky and arrogant, because that's just kind of how the environment led to. And, even back then, as a West Coaster, I was always jealous of a lot of the East Coast energy. Man, like I would travel to these East Coast events and everyone's just going, yeah! And it's just like, this is so cool. And then we'd be on the West Coast tournaments, and a lot of times people would just be like, and it just wasn't the same, dude. It just wasn't the same. And so, the offline events where you get to feel this kind of energy is just absolutely electric, and it's wonderful. And, I hope you guys got a chance to watch that Blink Respawn. And if you didn't, go check out the archives. It is on Blink Esports RD. That is the Twitch channel, Blink Esports RD, no spaces. And watch some of the archives, because you can hear the audience coming through the commentator mics. Like, you just hear them coming through the mics that Logan and Jeremy and Vicious were using, and you just hear it, and it's just so magical. It creates such a wonderful feeling. And I want to read Adrian's comment, but it is being blocked by a cat right now. So if you don't mind, I'm going to turn and look this way at my OBS and read. I'm Dominican, and we do support our players. Most people do not realize the hardships Dominicans face on a daily basis. For most people here, daily life is a struggle. Imagine that you are trying to become successful in something so frivolous for most people in the world as video games. Yeah, see, this is the other thing too. I even said to Mena, like, shout outs to Tempest Rob, by the way, co-goats in terms of photographers in esports. Tempest Rob and Vexany are the two basically greatest photographers. I'm not biased or anything. But he had some pictures of MenaRD after winning a top 8 match, and like the audience is just cheering. I mean, they're revering him like a god. You know, I've heard the stories of MenaRD just being in the passenger seat of a car and a motorcycle drives up next to them, like on the freeway. And the guy on the motorcycle is like, yo, it's MenaRD. Oh my God. Like, you know, he's a national hero there. And I said it to MenaRD in a tweet from that picture. I was like, and I told Mena this at Evo as well. I told him that, like, Mena is the reason why I do this kind of thing for the fighting game community. You know, he's the exact story that, you know, I want to have possible. You know, Arslan Ash from Pakistan is another one, right? Is another great example of this. Varix from Senegal, you know, like, we do this fighting game stuff because we don't discriminate. We really just don't. And like, it doesn't matter what your background is or who you are. Like, you have the ability to become revered like a god in the fighting game community. And, you know, the fact that MenaRD has that kind of status and has given, you know, the people in the Dominican Republic something to cheer for, something to go crazy for like that is absolutely one of the best stories. And then not only that, but MenaRD gives back so much. Right? He sponsored his own team. He built an esports center where they can gather and go play. You know, he spread the love back to the Dominicans in DR. And, you know, a lot of people were saying that, you know, MenaRD, when he won his first Capcom Cup, he got, you know, $250,000. And he's like, dude, like, you cannot even imagine how much that money means in the Dominican Republic. Like, 250,000 US dollars goes a lot farther in the Dominican Republic than other places. And, you know, the fact that he gave so much back to the community says a lot about the type of character that Mena is. And, you know, yeah, that's why you get hype. That's why you get energetic. That's why it's amazing to see the kind of storylines that we have, you know, in the fighting game community. And honestly, one of the best reasons to have these offline events. And yeah, it's hard because a lot of people aren't going to be able to travel to them. It's expensive. The cost of flights have only gone up during pandemic. The cost of everything has gone up during the pandemic, and it's difficult. But if you can make it out to one of these things, I really recommend you do, because it is an experience you won't forget. Someone even wrote down on my YouTube, they were like, yo, I went to Evo last year just as a plan for a 1-year trip. He was like, I just wanted to go to Evo one time. And he's like, and now I feel like I have to go every year. So, like, that's how magical it gets. I mean, I tell people at Evo all the time, Sunday is going to change your life. And I remember after Sunday, I was walking through the casino and I ran into some people. They're like, yo, are you James Chen? Oh, my God. And I just said to them, I was like, well, did you guys get Sunday seating? And they're like, hell yeah. And I said, look, I tell everybody that Sunday changes their lives. Did Sunday change your lives? And they were like, yes. It's such a fun thing to do. And it's such a different environment. Social media is just, it brings out the worst of anything, and especially the fighting game community, because it seems like everybody's mad. But, you know, look, it's not how it is when you go live and in person All these people are wonderful people. I've sat down and talked with men. I've had, very, very, like it was a dinner with Kaba one time where it was literally one person, me, David, and Kaba. And just Kaba is just the sweetest, gentlest, like such the nicest, most respectful human being that you'll ever meet. I mean, that's just how it is, right? And having the ability to become someone, Kaba beating Kakeru in winner's side, and the audience just absolutely exploded for him, at Blink Respawn. And you just, these situations don't happen without the fighting game community. And keep in mind too, this is not Capcom running to the Dominican Republic and running a tournament for them. They ran this tournament with wonderful production value in the Dominican Republic on their own. And they wouldn't have had a reason to do that were it not for players like Mena and Kaba. And because that they were able to do that, there was a reason and an impetus and a drive to create an event like this in the Dominican Republic. And seriously, it is, like I said, it was one of my favorite places to travel to for FGC, because I have, like, literally me and David, when we were commentating at Game Over, sometimes we couldn't hear each other. Like, we couldn't hear each other talk. It was that loud in there, and it was just seriously one of the greatest feelings ever, honestly. So, I mean, yeah, of course, not every player is great. Some players are going to have egos and whatever. You're not going to have a great experience. Some events suck. You're going to go to an event that's not very good. It happens every once in a while, and I really hope it doesn't happen to you. But, go to the established ones. Go to CEO. Go to Combo Breaker, right? Now that we've seen what Blink Respawn can do, or what Blink Esports can do with Respawn, go to next year's Respawn. First Attack has been doing great in Puerto Rico forever. UFA is happening soon, and that's been an amazing event in France for a long, long period of time. We have enough established events that you don't have to worry about heading to a bad one. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, most people try their best to be respectful. For sure, Tombstone. We cannot. So Adrian continues and says, we cannot thank MenaRD for what he did for us here. We can't thank him enough, I think is what Adrian is trying to say. MenaRD for what he did for us here. He opened the window of opportunity for all of us to dream about being successful in video games. Now even the government is supporting the FGC here because of what he achieved. Exactly. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do, okay? That is why, because I want this to be like this. I want it so that if a player in Venezuela or from Brazil or from Chile goes to their visa, offices and be like, hi, I want to travel to Evo, the office will be like, sick, good luck. Because they want the winner to win. They want the player to win and be from their country, because look what it can do, right? This is not the only, MenaRD is not the only story that I've heard this kind of thing from. Other examples escape me right now, but I know that, like GamerB, the year that GamerB didn't even win Evo, but he took out Justin Wong with Adon versus his Rufus. He went back home. There was news articles. They were literal news stations in the airport for when GamerB came home from Evo to Taiwan, and he had all these people there to welcome him. They gave him flowers. They did all these things. Like, it was wild. Like, that's the kind of thing that we are trying to accomplish here that's the things that I'm trying to accomplish here in the FGC. That's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. And that is, I mean, again, thanks to that, thanks to what we've been able to do in the FGC here, a place like the Dominican Republic can have an event like Blink Respawn and have that energy and have that opportunity and have that dream and just have that excitement and that pride as well. And again, MenaRD is the kind of human being who could accomplish so many different things in his life, but he found the right one, and now he is a national hero and receiving all the adulation. And you know what? He's still a very humble kid. His speech at Capcom Cup last year was amazing, made me cry, because he was really just talking about, you know, if you can dream big, you can do it kind of things. And like that is what the FGC is about to me. Again, no restrictions. We don't hold anyone back. If you can come and play, you can come and play. If you can win, you can win. You know, players like Ricky Ortiz, for example, being a hero to so many people in the FGC. You know, these kind of opportunities, we try to make sure the doors are open for everyone. And because of that, someone like MenaRD is living his life to the fullest right now. And that is because of the fighting game community. Like, how sick is that? How sick is that, really? And, you know, talking about traveling, I do want to address one little funny question that RafTX asked on stream. He's like, what was your favorite place to eat in all the places that you've traveled to? If you do have a chance to travel to places like the Dominican Republic or to Puerto Rico or France or, you know, Japan, etc., I want to answer this one kind of generically, but to be honest with you, my favorite places to have eaten in a lot of the foreign places are a lot more of the hole in the walls, actually. There's a lot of big fancy places that you can go to, but I feel like you can get fancy food in a lot of different places, right? Going to the hole in the walls actually, I feel like, gives me more of an idea of what the country is about. You know, and sometimes it's really just kind of the best food that you can get. You know, I forgot if it was in the Dominican Republic or in First Attack in Puerto Rico. It might have been at DR when we were there for Game Over. But we went to like a food truck to get some arepas. And I've never had arepas before. And that stuff was amazing. It's just like little plantain tacos almost, you want to call it, like a little plantain bread with a bunch of meat in there, and they've got the magic ketchup mayo sauce that you can just pour all over it, and it was just like, it was amazing, dude. Like, that's kind of some of the best food that you're gonna run into. Mono took us to a beach one time, and you know, we had like authentic, you know, the fried cod, like the cod patties, like the little cod cakes and stuff. You know, I drank water straight out of a pineapple. And honestly, I've never actually done that until I went to the Dominican Republic. I went to First Attack in Puerto Rico and stuff. So it's just a lot of places. Yeah, exactly. If you go to Taiwan, don't go to Din Tai Fung, dude. Like, obviously Din Tai Fung is amazing, and you know what? It's great here too. The Taiwan one is probably better. Unless you're just like a super fan of Din Tai Fung, go eat Din Tai Fung, right? But if you're not, like, you need to go out to there and like try the little stands, dude. Even though it smells really bad and I've never had it, but try the stinky tofu. Get the liang mian if you're in there in the summer in Taiwan. Get the cold noodles, dude. They're so good. I lived off of that stuff one summer in Taiwan, dude. It was so good. But yeah, local street food, that kind of stuff is really cool. So yeah, and as Adrian said too in the chat, you know, we are a welcoming country. Everyone is invited for Blink Respawn. You know, when we went to Puerto Rico for First Attack, again, I love it there because everybody is so friendly. Everybody is so welcoming, you know, and all they want to do is just make sure you enjoy Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And I'll tell you right now, these countries and provinces, when you go to these places and you tell them how much you enjoy their country and their hospitality and their food, like, you just see the pride. You see their faces light up. You know, there is this deep pride in their region, in their people, in their culture. And when they see foreign people coming out here and you tell them how much you actually love a lot of the stuff that, you know, the hospitality you show them, you tell them that how beautiful, I mean, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico have been two of the absolute most beautiful places that I have visited, island countries / provinces. You know, they're so beautiful there, and it's just wonderful. And, you know, you can sense the local pride when you tell them how much you enjoy everything that you see, that you love the culture, that you love the people, that you love the food, and you love the atmosphere, because that's how much it means to them. It's tough because, especially if you come from someplace like the States, like it's hard to understand that kind of feeling. But when you travel and you go to a place like that and you actually see that and you actually get a taste of what it's like, and, you know, understanding, like Adrian says, where a lot of that also comes from struggle as well. You know, a lot of that pride comes from struggle. And so, you know, it's, oh, man, like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, you know, just how much it means to a lot of these places to have people visit and for them to make sure that you have such a good time. These people are wonderful people. I know recently I did a part on my stream where I just talked about how amazing Puerto Rico is. I mean, I haven't been to the DR recently, but my memories from being there are fantastic. And like I said, I just had such a great time. That was when I had the nice little dinner with Kaba as well that one time. And it was so cool to listen to him talk about what his plans were, what his goals were, what the fighting game community meant to him in like kind of a personal, private environment and stuff. And it's full of wonderful people, man. Like when you get to travel and you get to see, it's like when we went to Kuwait and you get to see all the gaming nerds in Kuwait and stuff like that. And, you know, it doesn't matter where you go. When you find out that everybody is the same, you know, it really opens your eyes to what the world is about, you know, that it doesn't matter what country you go to, you know, like, you know, the geek culture is geek culture, man. And everybody is passionate about the same things. We all love the same shit. And it just opens your eyes on how amazing and how not different we are from everybody else, dude. Like, we're all trying to do the same stuff, man. We're all trying to have the same fun. So it's just, you know, one of the things that people have always asked me, like, you know, what is your favorite thing about being a commentator in the fighting game community? And that's the answer right there. Having been able to travel to all sorts of crazy places, including the super, super, super small town in Spain that I almost got lost trying to get to, having been rescued by being picked up at a train station that I wasn't supposed to be at. By the guys who currently maintain Fightcade. And they drove me to the right place, and it was such a wonderful experience there too. You know, you get to see a lot of things, and it's great. I recommend it for everybody, honestly. So, yeah, Puerto Rico is amazing. Puerto Rico is absolutely beautiful. To be fair to the Dominican Republic, I've been to Puerto Rico like 7 times already. So I have many, many fond memories, and I can't wait to go back to Dominican Republic one of these days. Hopefully, hey, you know what, Adrian, if you have the ability to let anybody know, let people at Blink know. I would love to go to Respawn 2024. Yep, when you gather for a common passion, you realize how synthetic and political all these borders are. We're all human beings, regardless of what banner and tribe we were born into. I couldn't have said it better myself, Shay. And so I'll end this section on that comment right there. Again, when you gather for a common passion, you realize how synthetic and political all these borders are. We're all human beings, regardless of what banner and what tribe we were born into. Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And like I said, I'll be discussing a couple of these other things later on. So check out those for YouTube coming up. But again, you know, I speak from a very passionate place. I speak from a very open and vulnerable and emotional spot. So, you know, I hope you guys appreciate that. I hope you guys do enjoy these kind of conversations that I have. And so if you guys enjoy that, please like and subscribe. You won't have a shortage of this kind of conversation from me. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. For those of you here on Twitch, I'll be going over these kind of things next. I'll be talking about Reina a little bit, and then we'll be doing a little bit of Drive Rush Science if I have some time, because I just want to get to the bottom of the eating inputs thing and really put that thing to bed, kind of, in a way. So, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And for those of you here on YouTube, the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.